Welcome back to our channel on this beautiful, bright day. We are so thrilled to sit down with you again to talk about all the juicy, heart-pounding drama unfolding in Port Charles. I have to tell you, my heart just aches every time I watch Nina Reeves try to navigate her complicated life, because it feels like the moment she finds a tiny shred of peace, a massive storm rolls in to destroy it. The latest revelations coming out of Port Charles have left me absolutely reeling, and I simply cannot stop thinking about the absolute shock that is going to hit Nina when she discovers the dark, twisted alliance forming right under her nose. The idea that Drew Cain and Ava Jerome are joining forces is the kind of bombshell that sends shockwaves through the entire town, but for Nina, this is not just town gossip. This is a deeply personal betrayal, a flashing red warning light, and a situation that I know will push her into full panic mode. Watching Nina process this information is going to be a masterclass in emotional turmoil, and I am bracing myself for the absolute hurricane she is about to unleash. When I think about the friendship between Nina and Ava, I feel such a deep sense of warmth and understanding because these two women have been through absolute hell and back. They have fought bitterly in the past, tearing each other down in ways that seemed unforgivable, but over time, they found a profound, unspoken sisterhood. They are both women who have made terrible mistakes, women who have been judged harshly by everyone in Port Charles, and women who fiercely love their children. Because of that shared pain, they understand each other in a way no one else does. So, when Nina realizes that her dear friend Ava has climbed into bed, metaphorically or perhaps even literally, with a man as dangerous and unpredictable as Drew Cain, her protective instincts are going to explode. I can already feel the anxiety radiating from Nina, knowing that she will view Drew as a toxic force who will only drag Ava down into the mud. But my goodness, the layers to this drama do not stop with Ava, because we also have to talk about the massive, brooding shadow of Sonny Corinthos hanging over this entire situation. We all know that Drew and Ava are not just teaming up for fun, they are setting their sights on Sonny, and that is a reality Nina simply cannot stomach. Even after all the tears, the screaming matches, and the heartbreak, Nina still carries a deep, undeniable torch for Sonny. He is her ex-husband, a man she once believed was her ultimate soulmate. And despite the toxic ruins of their relationship, that emotional bond has never completely evaporated. I find it so fascinating, and honestly a bit tragic, that Nina still feels this desperate need to protect the mob boss who broke her heart. The thought of Ava and Drew conspiring to destroy Sonny is going to eat away at Nina's soul, giving her yet another desperate reason to sabotage this unholy alliance. And let us be completely honest about Drew Cain for a moment, because his recent transformation has been nothing short of chilling to witness. The honorable, steadfast Navy SEAL we once knew has been entirely swallowed up by this ruthless, calculating, power-hungry politician who seems to view people merely as stepping stones. Nina has watched Drew operate lately, and she knows his playbook all too well. She knows that Drew has a habit of using his charm, his intense gaze, and his manipulative words to get exactly what he wants from vulnerable women. I can feel the absolute dread washing over Nina as she connects the dots, terrified that Ava is just the next woman on Drew's menu. Nina has seen Drew tangle himself up in passionate, messy encounters before, and the thought of him sinking his claws into Ava and turning their business arrangement into a romantic entanglement will make Nina's blood run cold. Of course, the absolute core of Nina's burning hatred for Drew always comes back to her precious daughter, Willow Cain. The history between Drew and Willow is a wound that simply will not heal for Nina. After everything that transpired, the betrayal, the secrets, and the emotional devastation, Nina despises Drew to the very marrow of her bones. She looks at him and sees a man who brings nothing but chaos and pain to the women she loves. I can completely understand why Nina would feel this overwhelming, almost suffocating urge to step in and play the hero. She wants to throw a protective shield around Ava, around Sunny, and ultimately around Willow, convinced that if she can just neutralize Drew, she can keep her fractured family safe. But as we have seen so many times with Nina, her desperate need to control the situation often blinds her to the catastrophic consequences of her actions. I am waiting with bated breath for the moment Nina decides to take matters into her own hands, because you just know she is going to reach for the most dangerous weapon in her arsenal. Nina is sitting on a gold mine of leverage thanks to the incredibly dangerous Jack Brennan. Brennan has dug up the kind of dirt that could ruin lives, and Nina has been holding on to this advantage, feeling like she finally has the upper hand. I can vividly picture Nina trembling with a mix of fear and righteous anger, marching up to Drew and throwing Brennan's findings right in his face. She will want to remind him, in no uncertain terms, that she holds the keys to his freedom, and that if he does not back away from Ava and drop his vendetta against Sunny, she will happily watch him rot in a prison cell. It is such a classic Nina move, leading with her heart, swinging wildly, and praying that her threats will be enough to force a powerful man into submission. However, I cannot help but worry about how Ava is going to react to Nina's frantic meddling. Ava Jerome is a woman who prides herself on her independence, her cunning, and her ability to handle her own messes. She has her own razor-sharp claws, and she is more than capable of defending herself against a man like Drew. I have a strong feeling that Ava will eventually pull Nina aside and tell her to back off, assuring her that she knows exactly what she is doing. But Nina, bless her heart, simply does not know how to let things go. Even if Ava insists she has the situation under control, Nina's anxiety will push her to keep pushing Drew, to keep dangling that blackmail over his head, completely unaware that she is playing with a ticking time bomb. The confrontation between Nina and Drew is going to be an absolute spectacle of sheer willpower and icy threats. I can see them standing in a secluded corner of the Metro Court, the tension so thick you could cut it with a knife. Nina will likely lay out her demands, her voice shaking with that familiar blend of desperation and defiance, reminding Drew of all the terrible things Brennan knows. She will try to put Drew back in a cage, demanding that he sever ties with Ava immediately. But what Nina fails to realize is that Drew is no longer the kind of man who cowers at a threat. I can picture the cold, arrogant smirk spreading across Drew's face as he listens to Nina's demands, utterly unimpressed by her attempt to play the puppet master. Drew is going to push back, and he is going to push back hard. I strongly suspect that Drew will flatly refuse to be intimidated by Nina, arguing that her blackmail has limits. He will likely remind her that they had a very specific arrangement, an agreement where he promised not to expose Willow's secrets and allowed her to keep her precious seat in Congress. But Drew will make it devastatingly clear that the deal ends there. I can almost hear the venom in his voice as he tells Nina that she does not get to dictate his business partners, his political strategies, or his romantic life. He will assert his dominance, making it known that he will do exactly whatever he pleases with Ava Jerome, whether that means taking over the corporate world or taking her to bed. This is the moment where my heart truly breaks for Nina, because she is about to realize that she has vastly underestimated her opponent. Drew is not just going to defend his alliance with Ava, he is going to turn the tables and use Nina's greatest weakness against her. I am terrified that Drew will issue a chilling counter-threat, warning Nina that if she continues to test his patience, if she dares to interfere with his plans for Ava or Sunny, it will be Willow who pays the ultimate price. Drew holds the power to destroy Willow's political career and her public reputation in the blink of an eye. By trying to play the protective mother and the loyal friend, Nina is inadvertently putting a massive target right on her own daughter's back. The tragic irony of this entire situation is almost too much to bear. We already know that Willow is in an incredibly fragile state right now. She is moving back into the Quartermaine estate, feeling suffocated by Michael's rigid rules and controlling behavior. Willow is already acting recklessly, desperately searching for an escape from her stifling marriage. The absolute last thing Willow needs right now is for her mother to trigger a massive explosion with Drew Kane. If Nina's blackmail attempt blows up in her face, the fallout will rain down directly on Willow, shattering whatever fragile piece she has left and potentially destroying her life entirely. And let us not forget the Jack Brennan factor in all of this. Brennan has been working tirelessly, risking his own safety and operating in the shadows, all to protect Nina from the consequences of Willow's terrible choices. He has warned Nina time and time again about the dangers they are facing. But Nina's stubborn refusal to step away, her insistence on jumping into the line of fire to save everyone, is going to drag Brennan right down into the mud with her. If Nina uses Brennan's leverage to threaten Drew, she is exposing Brennan to Drew's wrath as well. The ripple effects of Nina's impulsive decisions are going to spread through Port Charles like wildfire, burning bridges and ruining lives. As I sit here reflecting on all of this, I am just filled with such a profound sense of anticipation and sorrow. Nina's intentions are always rooted in love. She wants to save Ava from a predator, she wants to spare Sonny from ruin, and she wants to protect her daughter from the ugly truths of the world. But in her desperate scramble to control the narrative, she is proving that she might just be the architect of a brand new disaster. The collision course between Nina, Drew, Ava, and Willow is set, and I know that when the dust finally settles, the emotional wreckage will be devastating. We are in for a truly heartbreaking, unforgettable chapter of television, and I will be watching every single second, holding my breath, and hoping against hope that someone can pull Nina back from the edge before it is too late.